Ladies and gentlemen, I'll call the meeting to order and welcome everyone to our council meeting on the 21st of March. Introduction: in the event of an emergency, the building may be evacuated. You'll be required to vacate the building by the rear entrance and gather at the breezeway between the library and the art gallery buildings. This is council's designated emergency muster point. Under no circumstances is anyone permitted to re-enter the building until the all clear has been given and the area deemed safe by authorised personnel. In the event of an evacuation, a member of council staff will assist any member of the public with a disability to vacate the building. Excuse me. 1.1, apologies for absence.
Mr Mayor, we've got Councillor Jack Evans on leave, Councillor Whitten, and also we've got Councillor Peterson on screen this evening.
I have a mover and a seconder. Moved by Councillor Greenhouse, second by Councillor McDonald. All in favour? Against? Carried. Item 1.2, live streaming and recording. This council meeting is being live streamed and recorded. By speaking at the council meeting, you agree to be live streamed and recorded. Please ensure that if and when you speak at this council meeting that you ensure you are respectful to others and use appropriate language at all times. Orange City Council accepts no liability for any defamatory or offensive remarks or gestures made during this course of this meeting. A recording of this council meeting will be made for administration purposes. 1.3, acknowledgement of country. As resolved in February, councillors are now able to deliver the acknowledgement of country during the second meeting of each month. Councillor McDonald has volunteered to deliver the acknowledgement of country. Councillor McDonald, would you like to untake the acknowledgement of country, please?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'd like to acknowledge that we are meeting tonight on the lands of the Wiradjuri people. I pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging, and any First Nations peoples present here tonight. I acknowledge the deep and profound connection our First Nations peoples have to country, having been custodians of this land for more than 60,000 years. Always was, always will be Aboriginal land.
Thank you, Councillor McDonald. Any declarations of interest? I'll declare an interest in item 5.4 as I am a member of Orange City Rugby Club, non-playing.
Thanks for that.
Declarations of interest?
Declare a conflict of interest because there was funding which I was part of issued to the Orange City Rugby Club. So I won't be taking part in that discussion. Thank you.
Which item was that, Councillor?
Same one, Orange City Rugby Club.
Sorry, thank you.
Opening prayer. Is there any other declarations? Sorry, councillors. No. Opening prayer. We welcome Rosie Aguila and Lama Chawang from the Orange Buddhist Centre and ask them to lead us in our opening prayer. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. First, I want to give some definition, small definition, why we are praying about it. This prayer is very auspicious. We are saying it auspicious praying when we are doing something good for outer space and inner beings. That time we got sometime obstacles and how to say misunderstanding sometime like that why, because of we are not thinking of together. That's way. So make our loving kindness and compassion mind, physically, mentally, and also what we have. That's making a good energy for this praying. Thank you. O palden zave lama rimbo je dagi jora peden dejo gadin jembe gonen jezonde kuzondo ge ngodo toldo zo omna je namda raje lendo taje jojo jena joba ye sange cheda giden pabe zo kunla jaja ndaja taje jo deme yabo zalen tendo Chambe Yamba Yata Palamba Kula Gamba Gaza Tamba Jelimbo Taba Zara Banda Nishimje Damje Lagon Tempe by Zamza Zara Tamba de Zanda Betaje Babe wa Devra Sheba Gala Tata Jamba Jino Balen Dorje Jenjere Joa Gamba Jambe Saying Yimba Diba Namba Zanam Yimba Paza Gundo Zaoban Doje Pega Lojenda Nobo Dawara Yima Tajalena Taje Bagi Chanzo Zamba Gala Zaza La Rinjan Doza Taji Sergin Yan, the Zombonza Yuan Gama, La Yinda Denda Pinzo Babu. Minub Gazo and Eurocolo, the Rinjan Dazo Gigi Chajin, Chode Yawa Jegi, Gizonga Timbe Babe, Taji Lama Gala Zaza, Zamba Jamba Dezo Shime, Migda Deda Gaba Yungos. Pagya Bodalua Mimezanam Deji de la Jecolo, and Dijola Dindon Dorje, Jempiwari, Chidin Gajin. Sazo Nizo Gele Tajebe Jiden Gawa Gela Zazala, Daja Dendra Chawa Zamba, Langeda Yawa Chawa Kunji, Jiden Bolben Samdin Nijindo Taji de la Pesum Sabajo, Daja Dendra Chawa Zamba, Langeda Yawa Chawa Kunji, Jiden Bolben Samdin Nijindo Taji de la Pesum Sabajo, Daja Dendra Chawa Zamba, Langeda Yawa Chawa Kunji, Jiden Bolben Samdin Nijindo Taji de la Pesum Sabajo, Kange Dojin Dawa Damja Pongwich. Tambe dene danje ba gawadam de la zazelo la da la men jeben ge chege be ma la pama gun la doje ma domba im la cheba bo jamba la me sange rimbo je ge ba la me dam je rimbo je demba la me ge den jamne gunzo sum la zazelo sa je be je chung je men do dam ri ra lin jing de ge ba de sange jin do me de bo Doge Namda Shinla Chabrasho, Tazawada Jijin Shabada, Jizoy Ran Kuzin Sawaye, Gawadun Zedagi Jizaba, Tamje Zobe Janjo Chingo, Tizum Sange Guru Rimboche, Mudop Kunda Dewa Jimesha, Parche Kunjo Dodo Chabaza, Sawa Dizo Chingi Labdoza, Shina Zaya Parche Shiwata, Samalingi Choba Chingela, Tizum Sange Guru Rimboche, Mudop Kunda Dewa Jimesha, Parche Kunjo Dodo Chabaza, Savadiza Chingia Labdosa, China Zaya Parche Shiwata, Samalingi Choba Chingela, Tizum Sange Guru Rimboche, Mudop Kunda Dewa Jimesha, Parje Gunzan Dodo Chabaza, Savadiza Chingia Labdosa, China Zaya Parche Shiwata, Samalingi Choba Chingela, Pema June Kigwa Chirada, Kurda Koje Cheda Shinganzo, Kiki Jinza Zamba Chitawa. Nidrakana Dazo Girajo, Kila Deje Sawa Tapede, Dazo Kando Nebe Sacho, Nida Batabje Shiwa, Chodan Taji Bawa Jedo, So Chojo Dizingawa Shadaji, Lama Idam Kara Chigyong, Zamale Jinge Dinge Jesus, Dinge Namge Bede, Dinla Julinga Izungibe Zazala, China Sawan Dizingi Geje Dinge Deje Namge Jangara, Unge Dibe Sola Danush. Tada Mige Give Rabdoja Chinje de la Damje da Gedo Sonam Gezo Kunla Irong, Give Sonam Yang Midawa Dinesum Dalame Chogoro Gezo Mali Dove Gilang, Donala Metarbe Sajinja Sangi Seje Dala Gozonzo da Gizambe Mela Razan, Gawa Kundo Zanda Dejenda Papa Zamba and Gambata. Tela Gunya Jezo Dalojo, Timbe Bagyo Lamarin Jena, Namgashindo Kunla Keba Jengida Shindo Kunla Sola, Yurio Shindo Tado Dimash. Tembe Shima Giden Dimboje, Todin Dizalozo Geje, Tembe Nima Sanga Dubaje, Tamje Deje Gizo, Tembe Jinda Chicken Gabayam Chavjin Geje, Tenami Brajo, Tembe Shivde Gile Lomba, Lodera Bezola Demboje, Tembe Shiji Kimda Jordan, Longe de Jing Jimmy Brajo, Denla de Be and Begilagon, the Gide Porje Shua, Lamla Nebe Naja Dangi, Tamje Menya Zumba Dubaja, Dala Zangi Lege Jelly, Negato Gelejins, or Donala Medebe Cousin. Kunzan Gaji Chimbo Tobra, Jo, Kunzan Dorje Sanjemen, Tinjan Zawe Lama Yin, Tawe Dendome Lam Ganda, Dadamje Dagi Dobra, Isho Asato Ma Sadgamaya, Amaso Ma Jotiri Gamaya, Mitrio Ma Amritam Gamaya, Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you all.
Thank you very much for that. Thank you. Councillor Mileto.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to declare a significant non-clear interest in item 6.2 and closed items. That's the construction of the female change room at Jack Robin Park, as I am the president of the Orange District Football Association. Thank you.
Now, before we move on, we have Roger Smith here. Councillor Duffy, since you're feel like I'm doing karaoke.
I'd like to see that.
Wouldn't like to see that at all.
We'll hand it over to Councillor Duffy's chair of the Tidy Towns Committee, just to say a few words.
Yes, thank you, Mr Mayor. Councillors, tonight we're here to honour one of our staff members. And I've always spoken in this chamber about this staff member, Roger. He's absolutely brilliant. He's been that way for a number of decades, Roger, haven't you, as far as Tidy Towns come. He's well known within the industry of sustainable communities. And when we're away in Singleton, he was given an award by the Keep Australia Beautiful New South Wales branch for his special condemnation for his long-standing commitment and support to the Sustainable Communities and Tidy Towns program. And I think it's an absolutely fantastic achievement. And they look forward to seeing Roger because they know what he puts forward and all those type of things there. And he's very well respected within our own community. I know Councillor Grillis has a lot of time for you as far as the efforts that you've put in as well. And I make no bones about the fact that I've always praised you in this chamber as one of the better staff members that we've ever had, and simply because of your commitment. And there's no real thing, but I'd like to present you with that award on behalf of the Keep Australia Beautiful. You want to say a couple of words?
Look, I'm so flattered and humbled by this award. It makes it so much easier when you love your work, and I just love my work. And I also love the Orange community because without our community, the Tidy Towns wouldn't exist. And I might say, I think Orange has been with Tidy Towns now since 1982, so 41 years. I've been at the helm for about 10 or 12 years. And I just want to thank Council and also the leadership team for all the support that you have given me over the last 10 or 12 years. It's been fantastic, and without that support, I wouldn't be here. So thanks very much for that as well.
I'll just say a couple of quick words on my way back to the chair. I was Tidy Towns chair for a while. And the work that Roger puts in, and the volunteers that are on the committee, they think very highly of you, and you keep up the communication and all that sort of thing. So thank you, Roger, and congratulations. There being no mayoral minutes, confirmation of the council meeting held on the 7th of March. Can I have a mover? Moved by Councillor Floyd, seconded by Councillor Power. Councillor Duffy.
Yeah, Mr Mayor, thank you. I just got a couple of quick questions with about the debate on the actual the greyhounds. Just two things I would.
Well, so does Councillor Miletto have to leave the room?
Number one, we were in the room that night. I've got a number of phone calls and messages saying not here. What happened in the chamber, and also those listening on the net cannot get a very good. Our PA system is very, very, very ordinary.
Okay.
Need to have that addressed, and I'm just hoping next meeting that we will have a report from you.
Through you, Mr Chair, no promises on the report. We are already looking at the microphones. Again, councillors, you've got to talk into those microphones. We're meeting with the Greyhound people in some detail this Friday. I can't promise a report for next meeting. I can give you an update though, and I will as soon as I got something concrete.
For it to come in close.
Yes, okay.
Any other speakers? There being no other speakers, I'll put the motion. All in favour? Against? I've got it. General reports. 5.1. Recommendations from the resolutions from the policy committees. Can I have a mover? Moved by Councillor Mallard, seconded by Councillor McDonald. Any speakers? Councillor Kinghorn.
I'd just like to point out, so pages 16, 18 and 19 of the Planning and Development Committee meeting, I had declared an interest in this and I didn't vote on any of them, but I notice in the record that it says I voted for each of those three items. So if that could be corrected, that would be great. Thank you.
Of course. Oh, I see. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Kinghorn. Any other speakers? There being no other speakers, I'll put the motion. All in favour? Against? Carried. Item 5.2, it is the Disability Inclusion Action Plan, post-exhibition 22-25. I have a move. Moved by Councillor Mallard, seconded by Councillor Power. Any speakers? I think Councillor Peterson. Thanks, Councillor Peter. I might get Director Rob to answer that question, please.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Mayor. So Orange City Council actually doesn't collect data around how many staff members have a disability. We actually manage disability requirements or anything that's needed for improvements in the workplace at an individual level, and that's then noted on the staff record. So we haven't accounted for our staff in that way from a data collection perspective, but we can take that on board for consideration if we would like to do that in the.
Is that okay, Councillor Peterson? Can you hear me, Councillor Peterson? You're on mute, mate. Oh, there you go. Did you hear the response from Director Rob? Okay. Any other speakers? There being no other speakers, I'll put the motion. All in favour? Against? Carried. I'll move on to 5.3, Development Application DA 237/20221 8494 Woodward Road. Woodward's moved by Councillor Duffy, seconded by Councillor Mallard. Any speakers?
I just want to make a comment, councillors. This is something that we've had for quite a number of years, a block of land that we've been waiting for it to come on the market and do something with. It was originally purchased by council for some great, work generator or an employment gain when we had the Electrolux dilemma on our hands and sort of never eventuated to anything, as have a number of other blocks of land that we purchased. But I think it's a step forward, and it's just taken us a long time.
Thanks, Councillor Duffy. Councillor Kinghorn.
Thank you. Yeah, I just have a question. Page 71, the applicant is Hanlon's Consulting, which is a Tamworth-based firm. I'm wondering why it's a Tamworth-based firm. Is that because we're the owners and it's prudent to do it outside of Orange? Otherwise, why don't we have somebody in Orange doing this?
The applicant will answer. Director Rob.
So Orange City Council is the applicant, and as per the guidelines from the Department of Planning and also the new ICAC guidelines that have been passed for us to consider, we then had to engage an external consultant to do that for us. We went through an RFQ process, and the Tamworth firm was the one that we appointed, one because the lack of availability to start with of consultants locally, and hence it was a very transparent, robust appointment. But really, it came down to a lack of resources locally to be able to
Okay,
engage
so we do
with
try
that.
and do it locally if we can.
Absolutely. And we've got a 10%, like one of our criteria in our procurement criteria is it's 10%, I believe it is, for, or 5%, sorry. I'd correct that, 5% by local weighting. Yep, absolutely.
Thank you.
Councillor Mallard.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Couple of questions and a bit of a comment, I suspect. First question, just in relation to the report on options for social or affordable housing for the vacant lot site. Do we have any update on when we're likely to hear anything about that or have a report come back?
Director Rob again.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair. Yes, absolutely. So we wanted to progress the DA and so therefore be able to put the current property on the market, and then we would have a site that we could then start assessing from an affordable housing or social housing proposition, and a report will come back to
Mike's playing up.
That's mine, I'm sorry. And we'll bring that back to council. Also, as part of our broader review, we said we'd come back to council with a broader review of our property portfolio, including this site and potentially other sites that we could be looking at for affordable social housing outcomes.
Excellent. Thanks, Director. And then my other question and comment go to noting the submission that was made in relation to heritage concerns and the suggestion of limiting each of the lots to having one dwelling on it. Just wondering, in terms of the lot with the cottage, is it possible to put a caveat on it to restrict that? Because I think that seems reasonable to prevent subdivision, but I don't know if it's necessary or if heritage protections will take care of it.
Mr. Johnson will answer that question.
Thank you for your question. The land zoning will permit a range of broad land uses, and I don't believe it's proper or ethical at this stage to actually place a restriction on there to the degree that it limits it to a single dwelling. Under the LEP controls, there are certain, I guess you don't put a control or a restriction on a piece of land if it's ordinary governed by your local environmental plan in the first instance. So I guess the degree of what comes back, what configuration it takes, how big, small, setbacks, preservation of the heritage item, are all things to be considered in the future.
No worries. Thanks for that. And just to wrap up then, I'm happy to support the motion as it stands. And in terms of the submission and lot 2 in particular, I mean, I think I recognise the importance of heritage conservation, but at the same time, I think we have to understand that doesn't mean holding whole neighbourhood areas in stasis, and particularly when we have an opportunity to provide appropriate infill development with social or affordable housing. I wouldn't support restricting that. Obviously, I want to see us use that site. I obviously want it to be sympathetic in the way it's designed in the end to the neighbourhood, and hopefully our heritage protections will be up to that when a DA comes. Thanks.
I'll put the motion. All in favour? Against? Carried. I'll have to get Councillor Powell to come to the chair for the next one because I'm declaring an interest.
So
Leto.
the Mayor and Councillor Mileto are leaving the room. Waratah Sports Club, DA 292-20221. Page 99 of the agenda.
Yeah, mate.
Okay, we'll move on to 5.3. Sorry. 5.4, please. Kind of a mover of this motion. Thank you, Councillor O'Donnell and Councillor Duffy. Any speakers on this motion, please? Yes, Councillor Floyd and.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Deputy Mayor. Yeah, I'd just like to say I'm definitely in favour of this. I think the lifting of the quality of our existing infrastructure can only help Orange in the long run gain a reputation as being a sporting precinct. We've got our new sporting precinct on the way. We've potentially got a new greyhound track centre of excellence coming. All these fringe grounds and all our existing infrastructure. I think anything we can do to prop them up, make them look a lot better, make them a lot more functional, is only going to help Orange in the long run to gain, that reputation as being a sporting centre of excellence. So I'm certainly behind this 100%.
Thank you, Councillor Lloyd. Councillor.
Thanks, you, Mr Deputy Mayor. I'm probably 100% behind this as well, but I'm behind it for different reasons. Two, number one, the economics of the whole situation. Weekend we saw turning there at Hyde Park, Orange City, who got belted by Oka, Mr Mayor. But with them came around about 18 motels and all those type of things. Absolutely fantastic. Had parks and the Hawks come down as well and play a game as well, so which added to that. But these organisations are run by volunteers, no money, and they're the most valuable people in our community, irrespective of whether it's sport or what the situation is. They are absolutely free to us, and they're bringing economic development into it.
Thank you, Councillor Greenhouse.
I too would like to speak in support of this motion. I did have a couple of concerns, but Director Paul was kind enough to meet me on site and have a look. And I, along with Councillor Duffy, were there on the weekend and watched those games. And the Hawks, they did do all right in the under-18s. So, congratulations to them. But it definitely needs those facilities that have been put forward. For example, this early in the season, Waratahs is one of the only grounds we have available that has goalposts up for kids in the neighbourhood to go and kick and stuff like that. So I think anything we can do to enhance those facilities is definitely great for our community. So I'm in full support as well.
Thank you, Councillor Councillor Kinghorn, please.
Oh, thank you.
Just 1 second. Sorry, Councillor Kinghorn. Is Councillor Peter Stevenson, can you hear us? Yes, all good. Thank you. Just making sure. Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Kinghorn.
Just a couple of comments. Other than page 141, the light spill diagram looks like an alien dental x-ray. I was curious, in light of the email that was forwarded to us all from the CEO this afternoon with a gentleman complaining about various restrictions that have been put in place in this area and suggesting that perhaps they weren't being adhered to. And I was just wondering then, with this sort of thing, how... If that's actually right, then what happens? I mean, he had quite a list of concerns, and I know sometimes that's just people being picky, but I'm just curious about, because it was coming up in the meeting tonight, I just thought I'd ask.
Mr Chair, I might just say, that person's email I undertook to circulate it to him. This light, I just want you to know, this DA does not apply to impacts upon his house. He just wanted to make those points to you about Waratahs Club, okay? But Mr Johnson can tell you how we police DAs when we get complaints in and what recourse we have to fines and the like.
Yeah, thank you, Mr Mayor. Mr Chairman, sorry. It's fair to say that I guess the search of records indicates that there have been, I guess, some complaints in relation to the operation of certain parts of the development up there at North Orange, particularly in relation to, I guess, noise, light pollution, and some air pollution associated with the car park. The documentation, Council's manager, building and environment, has been in constant dialogue with the club over resolution of these particular issues. There's a noise management plan that's been put in place as part of the original consent, has certain responsibilities on the applicant to adhere to. I think the message here is that the club needs to be reminded of their responsibilities under the development consent. There's a curfew in relation to the operation of the existing lighting on the fields to the further to the west, and that's where some of these complaints have risen in the past. This particular development application relates to the location of where the Pride Park rugby park is, plus the council-owned land. I guess, as alluded to in the director's comments there, we're where ongoing management of those particular conditions needs to be sort of negotiated further with the club, because they're Council's manager of building environment has sort of negotiated the commission of a further noise study to deal with the microphones and the like. The lights have been adjusted over in more recent times to accord with some of their requirements under the original consent. This consent again relates to the provision of additional lighting on another separate part of the site that's not already covered by that particular consent. We believe that we've got, I guess, suitable management controls in place to deal with the particular impacts associated with this development in that location. I think that's probably where I can go with it at the moment, but other than that, we're recommending approval of the development. I think it's a great facility to move forward.
I've got no problem with the development. I was just curious because that came today and this was on the agenda tonight, so I just thought I'd get some information. Thank you.
No worries.
Just one second, Mr. Johnson. Councillor Peterson, can you hear us? We just want to make sure that you... Thank you. Have you got a question? Sorry.
You have a question? Yeah.
Thank you, Councillor Peterson. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Okay, any other comments on motion? I put the motion to a vote. All in favour? Okay, and carried. Thank you very much. We'll just move the Mayor and Mr. Miletto to return to the chamber. Thank you.
Thank you, councillors. I'll move on to item 5.5, which is National General Assembly nominations for councillors. We do have a nomination from Councillor Whitten, who is not here. Councillor Floyd.
Could I nominate Councillor Duffy for this one too, please, Mr. Mayor?
Yep.
I'd like to nominate Councillor Mallard.
Yep, so that's 5. That's with you, me, and 3 councillors.
Yeah, so we're not dealing with me because I'll come out of a different budget.
Oh,
Mr.
right.
Chair.
Okay.
So we've got Duffy, Whitten, the Mayor always goes, and who was
Councillor Mallard.
Councillor Mallard. Thank you.
Sorry, can I just speak to it? I know that Councillor Greenhalgh and I are interested in attending as well. Given the number limits, that given that we have only attended one thus far and we are still new, we could possibly be prioritised over those that have attended more than one.
Oh,
it's just a question. It's
look. Do you want me to just?
You want to
just give it? I'll just talk about where we're up to with this year's budget. Firstly, so each financial year, and we're talking about conferences. All of these conferences tonight are within this financial year. Yes, that's correct. Each councillor generally has $5,000 to spend each on in the financial year, obviously giving a total of $60,000. We currently, so there's a few considerations when you ask a question like that. We've got $33,000 remaining in this year's budget, so that's a fact for you to consider. Now, if you want to go over that budget of $60,000, you can do that. There's many factors, there's new councillors. I totally understand. I'm sure people would that, new councillors need to get up to speed. So that would be one way of looking at it. And I can deal with that. I'll find the money. I'll take it from somewhere else and I'll report back to you. So I wouldn't be afraid of having too many councillors to each one. But I can't give you direction. I'm just asking perhaps that the room moderates what you're doing. So to send 8 to Canberra, as you do that, perhaps don't send 8 to Adelaide. That's really all I can say. How about we maybe go around the room and see where we sit?
Just point of order. Mr. CEO, if I had only used 1,500 of my allocated 5,000, am I able to transfer part of that to another councillor if I thought it was in the best interest of council?
No, the leftover money, let's call it the leftover, I've got the discretion to transfer it. Leftover money. So right now I've got some numbers somewhere about who spent what and whatever. I can just say, yeah, sure. But I think your role is to just moderate it yourselves. You can.
Councillor Greenhouse.
Not perfect.
I'm happy. I want to put myself forward for the women's one. I got a lot out of that last time, so I'm happy to go to that. But I think it is important too that out of us, some of the newer councillors go, so we do start to build those relationships too. So there's two sides of it. But like, I'm happy to just go to the women's one if Mel wants to go to the General Assembly one. Like, yeah, I'm easy.
Yep. And as I say, Mr. Chair, find the extra money.
Yep.
This is about councillor training as much as anything else.
Okay. Well, I would like to attend the NGA.
Okay. Well, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I've got 1, 2, 3. I've got Councillor Duffy, Councillor Whitten, Councillor Hamling, Councillor Mallard, and Councillor McDonald.
Yep. Councillor Duffy.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd just like to point out, I don't think we should be too worried about whether we're actually spending to that degree, irrespective of what our politics are or whatever the leanings are. I think we also need to be aware that the various different political people have different contacts, and we actually look at the networking down there that actually goes on. And some occasions you're not at the actual conference because you're away visiting or whatever it is. Trying to work to get funding for Orange, and we've got some major projects on. I think that's far more important, and also to encourage the new councillors and to create networking, irrespective of what their religion. I'm fully supportive of the go to the women's conference as well.
Sorry, there's one more point I forgot to make is, of course, you also need to tailor floodplain. We'll have councillors on that committee, soft plastics and environmental issue. Obviously you're going to tailor to those conferences, yes? Now, visitor economy, Orange 360 board members perhaps, etc. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
There being no other speakers, I'll put the motion. All in favour? Against? Carried. I'll move on to 5.5, which is the Destination Visitor Economy Conference. 5.6.
I'm going to nominate you, Mr. Mayor.
Well, yeah, I'm on the board of Orange 360, yes.
I'd like to nominate Councillor Power.
Yeah, good idea. He's on the board as well. So,
in Power, yep.
Any other speakers? Any other nominations?
Yeah, Councillor Evans.
We can't because he's not here.
Is there something we could reach out to him to out?
Infrastructure. Probably airports as well.
So he would normally go to airports, roads.
Airports, roads conference.
Councillor Molyneux, you don't want to go as part of economic development?
Yeah, I would like to express an interest at this point in time. Thank you.
Hamling, Power, Mileto.
Yep. I'll put the motion. All in favour? Against? Carried. Next one is the Australian Local Government Women's Association Conference.
I'd like to nominate Councillor Floyd. Is it for this? Oh,
Respectfully decline. Respectfully decline.
Okay, first, so he needs a bit of time, so I better withdraw that.
Yes. Seconder. Okay, who will you nominate?
Councillor Greenhouse.
Councillor McDonald.
Councillor Kinghorn, would you like to attend?
No, I wouldn't. Thank
No,
you.
okay, no worries. Any other nominations? There being no other nominations, I'll put...
Sorry, it doesn't mean Councillor Floyd can't attend. There were male councillors.
Yes.
There are male councillors that attend. So
correct.
Councillor Floyd, are you interested in attending?
I'm very interested, but I will very graciously decline. Thank you very much.
You, Councillor Floyd. I'll put the motion. All in favour? Against? 5.8, floodplain management.
Hello, Councillor Floyd.
Can I have a mover and a seconder, please? Thanks, Councillor Greenhalgh. Councillor Power. Councillor Duffy has nominated Councillor Floyd. I'll second that, as being chair of the Floodplain Management Committee.
Councillor Floyd, maybe Councillor Evans.
Can I just ask a point of clarification because I'm the CEO? I believe the Mayor doesn't need any endorsement to go to any conference at all.
I believe that to be the case, yep. That's at least tradition.
Of his choice. Yep. Thank you.
Councillor Evans is on that committee. Thank you.
Can I nominate Councillor Evans then?
If he's able to go.
Does he, if he's able and interested?
Floyd and Evans.
If he's not, I would be happy to attend that. I think that'll be quite interesting. Only if Councillor Evans doesn't want to go.
First reserve.
Sorry, any other speakers? I'll put the motion. All in favour? Against? Carried. 5.9, which is National General Assembly, proposed motion, soft plastics.
I'll move the motion.
Seconder. Thanks, Councillor McDonald.
Thanks. I'll just speak to it quickly. I hope it's pretty straightforward. Obviously, the major soft plastic recycling initiative, private initiative, RedCycle, collapsed in the past year. So putting up a motion calling for the federal government to play a role in setting up public soft plastic recycling for both residents and businesses. I know Councillor Evans is absent, but have had conversations with him before that when RedCycle was operating, he had attempted to engage with them about recycling the packaging that a lot of his stock came in, and they weren't capable of taking it. So there's a lot of business waste there as well. And it's basically a situation where we're going to see more plastic waste going into landfill unless we get a solution to this. I'll flag as well, Mr Mayor, that I'll just have a matter arising at the end once we've dealt with the motion, if that's okay.
Okay. Any other speaker? Councillor McDonald.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Look, I speak in favour of this as well. What a lot of people don't realise in the community is that RedCycle had a partnership where they were able to turn those soft plastics into things like outdoor gym equipment, outdoor bollards, seating, all those sorts of things, which we actually have some of here in our city. So it's something that's really worthwhile supporting, and it's something that government really needs to step up and do something about now.
Councillor Greenhalgh.
Yeah, I'd just like to support the motion and thank Councillor Mallard for putting it forward. Going around in my job unpacking goods and building displays, not only now do a lot of the businesses have the cardboard recycling press, but they have the plastic ones too. So without somewhere for that to go, you know, it's going into landfill. So I 100% support that as well.
Okay, I'll put the motion. All in favour? Against? Carry. Councillor Mallard.
Thanks. Yeah, just as a matter arising, I wondered through you, Mr Mayor, if we might be able to get some information at some point about any options we've got at the moment for receiving soft plastics at our resource recovery centre. I know some other councils have been dealing with, you know, options, and that may just mean stockpiling things at the moment until a solution comes along, although I think certainly Randwick Council has actually found a private company there engaging to actually recycle soft plastics they're receiving and then turn them into products, as Councillor McDonald talked about, which they're then buying back and using. So if we could get some info from staff at some point, that'd be great.
Take it on notice. Thank you.
Thanks.
I'll move on to item 5.10, which is
Mr Mayor.
Statement of Investments, moved by Councillor Duffy. Seconder. Thank you, Councillor McDonald. Any speakers? Councillor Kinghorn.
Spiel. I'd just like to, a couple of things. One, it's good to see that our portfolio performance is now equal with the cash rate and getting a bit closer to our target, which is good. I would like to say thank you for arranging the session that I had with our investment advisor to find out how they think and what they do. That was good to know. And I would like to know what concerns or what exposure there has been for us in relation to the Credit Suisse and the Silicon Valley Bank issues of late.
Through you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I'll take that last question on notice. Councillors, we've got our full budget briefing Friday week 2, so you'll get a lot of detail that day. Credit Suisse, yeah.
Any other questions? Being no other questions, I'll put the motion. All in favour? Against? Carried. Item 511, report from the JO Organisation Board meeting. Can I have a mover? Moved by Councillor Floyd, seconded by Councillor Duffy. Councillor Duffy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just got a couple of comments, and maybe the CEO might be able to help me out because he was. As regards to the water security, the JO's stance on the Ulmarra Dam.
Through Mr. Chair, I'm going to defer to Councillor Greenham, but I will first. Director. You know, the Ulmarra Dam, I can tell you. While he walks to the yes, I can tell you that the Ulmarra Dam was in Centroc's original regional water security strategy. Mr. Greenham.
Certainly. Yes, I can confirm the Central JO is supportive of the project, and they also made sure that it got written into the state's strategic water plan. Thank you.
Well, now my other question is that I noticed that Lithgow and the Upper Macquarie doesn't want to come. A good move because they feel a little bit left out on the mountain. Goes right through to Pentland. Yeah.
Through Mr. Chair, yeah, Lithgow are back officially. It's been gazetted or whatever the word is. They joined Wesrock for a while, but I think they've found that.
We mightn't like them, but
yeah.
Nice people, Councillor Duffy. Down on Lithgow. I'll put the motion. All in favour? Against? Carried. We'll move into closed council. The Chief Executive Officer will now advise Council if any written submissions have been received relating to any item advertised for consideration by closed meeting of Orange City Council.
Have no such written submission.
In accordance with the Local Government Act 1993 and the Local Government General Regulation 2005, in the opinion of the Chief Executive Officer, shouldn't have that. The following business of kind as referred in section 10A2 of the Act, it should be dealt with in confidential session of council meeting closed to press and public. The following items are classified confidential under provision section 10A/2 of the Local Government Act 1993, which permits the meeting to be closed to the public for business relating to the following section. C, information that would, if disclosed, confer a commercial advantage on a person to whom the council is conducting or proposes to conduct business. 6.1, lease to Optus telecommunication facility, Warrigal Place. 6.2, tender for the construction of the Jack Brabham female change room. And 6.3, submission redactions 21st of March 2023 in relation to section E, information that would be disclosed prejudice the maintenance of law. Can I have someone move and second that we move into closed council? Thanks, Councillor Floyd. Seconded by Councillor McDonald. All those in favour? Against? Carried.